I think I could still say Happy New Year because, I mean, we're still getting adjusted into 2026 and a lot is happening for some of us here on this podcast. Hi, I'm Rob Akampora from the Shared Universe Studios here in Red Bank, New Jersey. This lady from Morristown has gotten a lot of attention in the last, well, I'd say the last week, but a lot of the attention was spilling over because of what happened in November. You're talking about a woman who's very much into vegan culture. You're talking about an established yoga instructor who has her own Be Well place in Morristown. And on top of all this, officially, we are less than about 12 hours before she is sworn in as Assemblywoman, Marisa Sweeney. What's up?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. We were going to try to do this before the new year, just things just couldn't get together. And I think part of it is because the election was still was really just so razor close that it took a while for them to finally kind of go, she's in.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, it was really close. I was one of the few elections that wasn't settled on election night. And I got to tell you, that's something that my brain wasn't prepared for. That's the one scenario that I wasn't ready for, like especially leading up to election night. I said to myself, okay, well, on Tuesday, no matter what, the campaign is over. Right. I can rest knowing that I did everything that I could, or at least I felt like I could do that I did everything that I could.
Right.
And I wasn't expecting it to not be settled on Tuesday. So when it wasn't called, I was like, wait.
The two scenarios in your head were going, okay, I ran a great campaign. I got my message out there. I didn't win, but I'm really glad for the experience. Or the other thing happens is, oh, wow, I pulled it off. Nobody thought I could do it, but I did it. And then it becomes wait a minute, this is option 3.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this was not on the resume here. Wait a minute.
I was not ready for option 3. I wasn't. They had to wait for a lot of vote by mail votes to come in. They had to wait for a lot of provisionals to come in. And that I was told on election night that it could take up to November 20th, and election night was on November 4th. I was like, wait, excuse me? I wasn't ready for that. But just a couple days after that, one of my opponents conceded. So right. I was like, okay, I'm so happy this isn't being dragged out for weeks at a time here. So that was a relief. That was a relief.
I have to ask, was there ever a moment where you're sitting there going, you announced the campaign, and I know you had a message that you were getting out there, which we'll get to in a second. Mm-hmm. Was there ever a point where you sat there and went, okay, am I really going to get elected? I mean, did the reality more hit when it was like, it's election night and I'm like, I'm close. Wait a second.
Yeah. Honestly, the reality of it didn't really sink in until honestly closer to now. Like my inauguration day is tomorrow.
I know.
So, and so it feels the surrealness is kind of slowly fading away, which is good because I'm really excited to get to work and to really move forward with this. But it took a while when I first decided to run. Or I should say back when I was kind of kicking around, like, is this something that I really want to do? Because I know there has not been a Democratic Assembly person in this district since Watergate. Like a lot of like the articles that you see is since 1977 or 1978. So I ended up talking to the mayor of Morristown, who's actually a pretty good friend of mine. And I just asked him his opinion on it. I said, I'm thinking about running for assembly. What are your thoughts on it? And he was like, and it was good advice. It really was good advice at the time. And he's definitely a friend that I trust. But he said, listen, the chances of you winning are probably small, but most politicians, that you lose your first election because maybe your name's not out there so much. And he's just like, so if you run and even if you lose, you got to make your peace with it. He's like, any election that you do, you have to make your peace with the fact that you might lose from the get-go. He's like, and the best case scenario, or maybe I should say the worst case scenario, is that you just get your name out there and other opportunities will pop up. He's like, everybody loses their first election. Don't worry about it. So I went into it, of course, hoping to win, but also with really like the expectation that I probably wasn't going to.
I'm guessing, and because I don't know, there wasn't really any kind of background with your family with politics. So this was sort of this, okay, I'm giving this a shot. And this is such I won't say whim, because obviously you put some thought into this to put your name out there and take a stab at this. But knowing you were so well established in the Morristown community, knowing you had a successful business and you've got all these things going on, especially with and we're going to get into New Jersey Veg Fest, which is coming to Asbury Park in May.
Yes.
You got all these things going on. So it's not like you were looking to put something else on top of what you've already got going on.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I have a lot of other things going on, but it's honestly because I get very excited about things and I'm like, yes, let's do it.
Right.
But I've been thinking for, I want to say for the past 10 years about maybe getting into politics, but I always had those thoughts, exactly what you just said. Do I really need a third thing on my plate right now? My plate is really full. And I always just kind of like pushed it off. And I am also big, like aside from my 2 businesses that I own, I'm big on volunteerism. I've been on the board of just about every local nonprofit in the area. But one of them that I got really active with was the New Jersey Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So it's like the big like nonprofit trade organization, if you will, of all the nutrition professionals in the state of New Jersey. And I got really involved with their public policy team, and I was their president. And as the president, you have to be a part of every committee. So I was like getting involved in every committee. And the public policy one was one that I was kind of surprised how interested I was in it and how engaged that I was in it. And
so would you, forgive me for interrupting, would you call that a turning point then at that point when you're getting about,
Yeah. So the work that I did with the public policy team is we would find, it was a lot of bills that really focused on food insecurity and things of that nature, SNAP, nutrition education. And we would go to the assembly and testify on the floor, and we would present research and evidence-based plans. We're all nutrition professionals with, minimum master's degrees. And I just couldn't sit around and wait anymore for other people to do the work and implement the changes that really needed to happen. I've always been part of the doing. So that's really why I ran, is because I wanted to be part of the doing of getting things done.
Which brings me, and I'm going to try to pull it up on my phone because I definitely wanted to get this out there. You were running on really a message, and I'm going to see if I've got the quote right, and it kind of plays to something you already said. Quote, "I understand the odds are against me. I was really hopeful, but I was completely aware that there had not been a Democrat elected in this district in decades."
Yeah.
And to continue, "I made my peace with it, and I did it anyway. And here's the point I wanted to bring out. If you want to see change, you have to try for it."
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I went, okay, win or lose, she's at least setting an example to say, I want change, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, for lack of a better term, and say, hey, I'm putting myself out there. I want the change. Hopefully you'll come along with me. And if I don't win, at least I made some points and I got my point across, and I can live with that, if that's accurate.
Oh yeah, that's 100% accurate. Imagine that nobody ever took a chance on something that meant so much to them, and so much as in, wanting to see the community that you live in be a better place. Like imagine nobody ever took the chance on making that world or making your world a better place because the odds were against you. Nothing would ever get done.
True.
Nothing would ever get done.
That's true.
So much like I was saying, like before I decided to run, I really made my peace with the fact that I might lose, but at least I tried for something, Yeah. So yeah, that's the reason why I did it. I knew the odds were stacked against me on paper, but I've also been, to what you said before, I've been involved in all kinds of community stuff for well over a decade. And I've been really involved in the Morristown community with my business and even other circles and other communities that the New Jersey Veg Fest is spread to. So, I do think in terms of name recognition and people knowing who I am in Morris County, that the work all the community work that I've been doing all the way up to this election, I think has only helped. It's almost like in a way, I've been campaigning for like 15 years without the intention of running for office.
Right, without even knowing it. Yeah, it's true.
The intention for running for office really just came about this past February. It's like like a year ago today, January 12th.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think that I was going to run for office. This opportunity came to me. It was probably pretty close to a year, but not quite.
Right.
The opportunity came to me, and there wasn't much time leading up to the election. I mean, most people declare that they're going to run, and then they have 2 years or a year to campaign. Like I had 8 months. So I was a little behind the 8 ball with that. So I made the decision and I went with it.
Amazing. Amazing. And like we said, for people who don't know, District 25 has been very much a stronghold of the Republican Party.
Yes.
And whether you're Democrat or Republican here, I mean, you have to acknowledge when somebody pulls off something that nobody thought possible, you got to give props, because it took a special person and it took a special message that resonated with the voters within the district. And I would imagine, looking at the results, and it was that close, that you got votes on both sides of the aisle, because you had 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the ballot. And it was a split. And there's the other crazy part. It wasn't like one party carried it. It was a split where it's, you're the Democrat, there's another Republican, there's the Assembly people that are going to Trenton, which makes this even more, almost doesn't make a ton of sense, because you figure, all right, if people are voting, and if you go into the booth, a lot of times they'll say vote for 2. A lot of people stay along the party lines. So that means people were not staying along party lines to vote for you. And I think that's something that has to resonate in your head and go, I did get votes on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely had to have been able to and to have the votes for me, the number that I did. And, and forever, I think I'll try to make sense of it. I think there was a lot of variables coming together that got me elected. But like, for example, even my running mate, Steve Polepchuk, he was with me every step of the way.
Yeah.
Like, he was somebody that was an acquaintance when we started running, and he turned into a really good friend. And we used to ride together to all the different meetings and to knock on doors. And we were together 100% of the time. And on the ballot, he was actually before me. It's just how it shook out. Like,
right.
Before me on the ballot. But somehow when all, the election results were completely done, like, I was the top vote getter, and then it was the 2 Republicans and then him. And it's so I'll never quite, I have so many questions as to why things shook out the way they did. I'm very happy they did. Of course. It's not a question of that. But yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting to look at how everything shook out. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think when tomorrow happens, then it's just going to be like, oh my God, it's real. And then, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? Even though I wanted this, it's like, and here's the thing that I find very interesting, because I was reading about this. They consider an assembly person a part-time job. That's how it's listed, by the way, if you take a look in the state of New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
considered to be part-time.
Yeah. I'm like, first off, to your credit, you were dealing with a little bit of something in Morristown, and you literally had thousands of people chiming in on your Facebook feed, and you're trying to keep everything calm and everything. And you're not even in office yet. So how is this a part-time job?
No, I know. Well, I guess the way the State House looks at it is how much time you're actually really spending in Trenton.
I see. Okay.
So, and like how much time you're actually spending on your committees.
Right.
So, like, you could be on 1 committee, you could be on 2 committees. I picked to be on 3. I mean, granted, we haven't gotten our committee assignments yet, but I did pick to be on 3. I don't have to do that. And also a lot of work that you do with your constituents, truly and honestly, from a politician's standpoint, is optional. There are some people that are real comfortable in their district. Maybe they're the Democrat, maybe they're the Republican. They've always been that way because that's the way their district votes.
Right.
And people, maybe get a little lazy or don't feel like they have to be so responsive to people or something. But that's not why I got into this. That's absolutely not why I got into this. I also think that, people get into politics and it becomes their identity. They'll do anything to stay in the State House because this is what I do. And it's given me clout in my community and it's given me status. And like, I'm not a career politician. Like, I have 2 companies that would love a little bit more of my time waiting for me.
Exactly. and that's why I'm literally going, okay, the festivals, it's more than just Asbury Park. You did Montclair last year. The festivals have been taken off over the years. And then you got your business, which has been established. We did like 13, 14 years ago, you established your own business. Yep. So while all this is going on, now it's more like, let me throw another ping pong ball. Let's see if I can juggle this. All right, let me try that.
It's honestly and truly just rooted in the fact that, like, change needs to happen. Like, we need strong people in the State House. Mm-hmm. There's also another thing that really inspired me to run, honestly, was the passing of the big, beautiful bill, where we're going to see a lot of social cuts on the federal level, where it now falls down onto the states to figure it out, and it's short-sighted. to think that by cutting a lot of funding to these social programs, that it's really going to make us economically stronger in any kind of way. The example that I use a lot, and I'll keep it short just to give you a quick one,
Sure.
is like Medicaid, for example. You know, you can give Medicaid to the families that need it, and now they can go to doctor's appointments and they can get health issues addressed, you know, before they become bigger problems. Or we don't give Medicaid to the families that need it, and now their only resource is to go to the emergency room. And what could have been a $10 copay is now a $10,000 bill. And when they can't afford to pay that, which they're much more likely not be able to, you know, not being able to afford the 10 grand as $10, that expense goes on to the state and it goes on to taxpayers. So Medicaid is actually considered to be one of the most fiscally responsible programs of all time. But I think people stop at the thought of, well, I don't want to pay for anybody's health insurance. So what's going to happen now when all these cuts go away? It falls on the states to figure it out, to create the safety nets. Like, we can't have people sitting around not doing anything. So like I've literally signed up for this so that I can work, so that I can be a part of these solutions, so that I can get it done. So even though I'm not sworn in yet, and again, that happens tomorrow, the fact that it's been pretty action-packed the past like couple months, I would say, is actually like, I love it, because that's what I got in here for. You know, there was a big ice raid in Morristown over the weekend, and like that's taken up a lot of my time. A lot of people are calling me. I don't even have an office phone yet because they don't give me one until I get sworn in. I don't even have an assembly email address yet. I'm putting my personal information out there so people can reach out to me. Also, that like there's some schools that projected their budgets for next year, and it's not good. Like, some schools in the district are looking at having to get rid of sports and being able to bus their kids from rural communities. Like, they wouldn't be able to do it anymore. So it's been, you know, unfortunate situations. I'm not saying I'm grateful at all for situations like that, but I am excited to get to work and to find what the problems are and to do what I can to fix them, because that's why I signed up for this job. So I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. One issue I can attest to, and it's something that 95.9 The Rat, one of the two radio stations I work at, has been very involved in, is Fulfill, the food banks of Monmouth and Ocean County. And the food banks definitely feeling the pinch this past year. And here we are, getting the generosity of everybody. It's not a political issue. It's just a matter of, hey, look, if you're going to help the stranger give a sandwich, do it here. Bring the turkeys, bring everything. And I think it really rang home to a lot of people just how much food the programs with Fulfill had gone through, because their coffers were pretty much down to nothing when we did this in November. And I don't think a lot of people realized just how much food had been taken before the holidays. And again, you talk about social programs, and this is definitely a social program that has been imperative, in my opinion, just having done the work that I've done with the food bank over the years, the impact that it has. And if you take it away, now what? You know, you don't think about that until all of a sudden, as you're starting to realize, and you've said, when you start taking away little programs, they're not as little as you think they are. That's the funny part. And sad at the same time.
Right, absolutely. And it's meant to fulfill a very basic human need we all have to eat every single day.
Exactly.
So, I've really been lucky. I've had the privilege so far. I went to visit the Interfaith Food Pantry, and they do an incredible job. I don't know if you've had the chance to go in there, or even like you should call them up and take the tour. They have a full-on grocery store there.
Wow.
And a lot of it is donated from Wegmans, and it gives like, so, and one thing that they mentioned that really kind of stuck with me is that when people are in situations of need, you know, be that they can't afford groceries, they can't afford, you know, like just lifestyle, whatever products, whatever it is, just to live your life, you often lose any kind of choice in anything. You know, it's like, well, here you go. We're donating this to you, so this is what you get. So it's like actually an experience that they provide for them where they can, here's your shopping cart, go pick what you want. And it gives them choice again. So, and there's something about having that autonomy and feeling like a human again that really goes a long way. Or I should say, feeling as you're part of like the human experience. It's almost like something that we take for granted. So yeah, all these basic needs social programs go a long way, of course, you know, by preserving them for humanity, but also for the economy. We can have both. I think, and sometimes it seems to be a thought in a lot of people's head that like we can either have humanity or we can have a thriving economy, and we can't have both. And they're really one and the same in almost every program that you look at, SNAP being one of them too. SNAP actually has a return on investment. For every dollar spent in SNAP, it generates about $1.50 to $1.80 return on investment with just the money that's being injected into the food supply chain, with jobs and farmers, and like there's literally a return on investment for it. So we can have humanity and a thriving economy at the same time.
And I think everybody would sign up for that. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. We all want to do our part for humanity, and we all want a good economy. We all want our dollars to go further. We all don't want to be at the supermarket bitching about egg prices. I mean, look, that's what it's all about. We all just want to be like, let's be decent, and let's all have a little bit more money in our pocket.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I did get a decent amount of Republican votes, all things considered, because a lot of what I talk about and a lot of what I believe, and even beyond my beliefs, a lot of what is factual that maybe just might not be known, or maybe it hasn't really been packaged in a way for people to be able to like consume it in a way that's like really understandable. You can have humanity and economic growth at the same time. Like they're often really one in the same. And I think when you meet, like there's kind of like a triangular way, I guess you could say, of talking about things, where you have like the liberal ideals, you have the conservative ideals. There's midpoints, and there's more midpoints or ways that we all meet in the middle that people even realize. Like to the point that you were making, like nobody wants to see their neighbors get buried in debt with like medical bills.
Exactly.
Like nobody wants to see their neighbors or of course their own family starving or food insecure. Like nobody wants to see this kind of stuff.
Right.
I just think both parties have different philosophies of how to get there. And there's a research and evidence-based solution. And there's many research and evidence-based solutions of how we can get there and have both. We can have humanity and a thriving economy. I know it sounds almost like utopian stuff, but like it's real. It's real, and it's actually very simple. And it's something that I find to almost be like a duty of mine. And it's how I ran a lot of my campaign, is explaining how both things actually really exist. So, and I think it's a middle ground that we can all come together on.
As somebody who's been a registered independent since like the mid to late 1990s, I was somebody who looked at the Perot campaign. Not that I was voting for Ross, but I loved the idea that a third party could exist.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who's always been like, when I've seen both parties work together, amazing things do happen. And I still believe in that philosophy. So when you pose that, I'm going, oh, sign me up, because that appeals to me as the growing part of the I'll say the populace that is in the middle. And there are more people in the middle, and I think this is what some people forget. There's more of us in the middle nowadays than ever before. If you 100%. Bring people more here, I think we all can win. I really do believe
so. I agree with that. I agree with that completely. I really think that is a means to a solution, because right now I feel like how polar politics really are just has both parties kind of spinning their wheels and spending too much time on demonizing the other side than actually being solution oriented. And it just has us get nowhere. I shouldn't say it has us get nowhere, because slowly inflation is continuing. Groceries are getting more expensive. Housing's becoming less affordable. Like the state of the world is getting worse, while we're all sitting around pointing fingers on, well, if they didn't do this and it's because they did that. We need to become a lot more solution oriented, and the solutions exist in the middle. That's my philosophy.
I like it. And best of luck over the next 2 years. I wish you all the best as Assemblywoman Marisa Sweeney, who is here on the game. Now, part of her life we were mentioning, Ming, the photo with Asbury Park, let's get the plug in there for that. We can put that up. The New Jersey Veg Fest is her creation. We have the date in Asbury Park that is coming up in May, I believe. If you click on that, there it is.
Yes, May 16 and 17.
You got it. Which brought me to the decision that I made earlier today that I would bring in a vegan meal and eat it with Marisa, but she can judge me accordingly. Now, I first say I semi-copped out. But I want to thank Francine Sprout. I've been hearing about the place forever. It's in Avon, New Jersey. Is literally like 4 minutes from where I work, and it's about 4 minutes from where I live in Bradley Beach. So when I looked at the menu, I'm going, all right, there's some things that I know I could probably do, but I got to touch on some things that would make sense. So as Ming's got the camera, Ming, you can take a photo of that before I show it to Marissa. There you go. All right, so this is their avocado sandwich. Now, keep in mind, just putting avocados on it wouldn't do the trick. Now, I like caramelized onion. I put that. Now, here is the vegan part of it, because I've never done this. All right, so the coconut bacon. I mean, I'm not sure if I understand the concept. I mean, obviously the coconut is cooked and it's not going to be bacon, but if you can elaborate as I'm about to take the bite, what can I expect here?
It's not going to taste like bacon, as bacon as you know it, I should say.
There we go.
But you got to go into a sandwich like this with an open mind.
And look, I'm a foodie. So, I mean, I was already like going, I'm going in with an open mind, but if I don't put something on here that's a little different, I'd be like, I'm copping out a little bit. I got to put something on here. So,
yeah. Well, you got to try something new too. You never tried it. So
exactly. And I'm like, and I will say this from Caesar Sprout, you put a lot of caramelized onion on here. I'm very happy about that. There's a lot of caramelized onion on here.
Caramelized onions are delicious. That's great.
One of my favorites.
Good. There's a lot of vegans that get into it. Like I always say that there's 3 main reasons why people decide to go vegan. One is the humanitarian piece. Like they don't want to, be a part of animal factory, the whole thing, farming and death. And then the second reason in no particular order is health, like people with the plant-based diets and the things like that. And the third one is sustainability. Like there are people that are hard environmentalists. There's been research papers that shows that the most impactful thing that you can do as a singular person to decrease your carbon footprint is to go vegan. But the people that are in it for, I want to say definitely the humanitarian reasons, like maybe health isn't so much of a big reason for them. So they're like, give me the vegan junk food. So if there's any way to eat something, if there's any way to eat something that kind of resembles what they used to eat so they don't miss it so much. I like to call it new twists on old favorites, I
think that's what this is, because I mean, first off, it was very tasty. And right out of the gate, you're kind of going, all right, you're getting the avocado, plenty of caramelized onion, and you do get that bacon coconut thing. I'm like going, all right, I get the flavor. It enhances the other two parts. So it actually made sense to me as I'm eating it.
Yeah.
And I'm going, would I buy it again? Yeah, I would, because it's a good sandwich. My only complaint from Cedar, you could have given me a little bit more in a sandwich. I'm like, it's a small sandwich, but I mean, we're splitting hairs on this. But that's the interesting thing about the festival. It is kind of shedding light on, I'll say it this way, a food group and a lifestyle that people have poo-pooed over the years. Like, oh my God, you're eating vegan. How could you be vegan? I'm like,
totally.
And I'll say it this way. Somebody who's lost 90 pounds in the last 10 months, I've had to make I've had it. Mingle vouch for me. When it came to maximum density, my photo was in the dictionary. It was really bad. But making the changes that you do with your diet, sometimes you're kind of limiting yourself on what you do eat. So I was really intrigued about doing this today anyhow with you, because it's also potentially opening a door for other foods to kind of come in, and then I can make the diet a little more of a variety thing, and your taste buds don't get tired.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. At the Veg Fest, and the reason why we started doing the Vegan Food Festival, and we're going on our 10th year. So 10 years ago, when we started to do this, the vegan options that were out there it was a sad state of affairs to try to be vegan in the state of New Jersey. It was not easy.
Right.
So this festival was meant to bring all like the restaurants and the product developers and anybody in the food space and even like the lifestyle space. So like lifestyle products and, soaps and clothing and things like that are vegan. To bring them together, and they're all local mom and pop shops, and it creates a marketplace for them that also creates community around them too. There are some people that are like, oh my goodness, I didn't know freaking vegan was in Prospect Park. Like now I'm going to go there on Tuesday or whatever. It's meant to like create awareness and almost be a little bit of like a small business incubator for some of these guys. And create communities. So that's, just people and that is what then makes being vegan and being plant-based much easier for people, just the availability.
Well, it brings me to the second thing that I got. And this is, and Mingo, I know you want to get a photo of this too, but basically these are their home fries, but I had to do something to make it a little bit more because I've never done this. So explain to me the concept of this cashew cheese that I've put on top of these home fries. So
yeah. Well, they have a great cashew cheese. I couldn't tell you exactly what's in it, but
I mean, you've had. I'm not every place is different, but I mean the turning a cashew into cheese. It's just sort of like your head's
yeah.
like, wait a minute, wait. I don't know, like, huh?
I know, it's so funny. And again, it's all in the effort of the new twists on old favorites, or I should say vegan twists on old favorites.
There we go.
I would imagine the cashews are probably used because when you soak them and then you blend them up, they have like almost a cheesy sauce kind of texture. I think it's mostly for texture. And then the cheese flavor comes from like nutritional yeast and, I'm not sure what else that they have in there. But I would say those are like that's the foundation of all the cashew cheese you see out there.
Now, the one thing I will say as I'm looking at this, and you look at what's on top of it, I'm like, if I can get a good photo, it looks like there's cheese on top of it. So, I mean, just, the look, you kind of go, all right, it's got the look.
Yeah.
And
right.
you go, all right, I'm 1 for 1. So, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen here?
Right. Yeah. You should definitely come to the festival. You don't have to be vegan.
Oh, no, I definitely will. Wait a minute. Wait, whoa.
What?
That just blew my mind. I'm like going, wait a minute. It actually does taste like cheese. How?
Well, it's 2026. Anything could be engineered now.
You're right. Exactly. Better living through chemistry. My God.
Yeah. But it's good, and every now and then we get people because a lot of the food that you get at the Veg Fest is food that's like, it's kind of street food and there is some junk food in there and it's Instagrammable, and every now and then people are like, you really need more healthy food. And there is quote unquote healthy food there, and there's plenty of it. It is outweighed definitely by some of this other ridiculous like macaroni and cheese on top of pizza, like marshmallow fluff on top of ice cream that was torched. Like it's definitely outweighed by that kind of stuff.
Right.
But vegans are eating, and we're eating broccoli and hummus and green juices every day, like people want, it's almost the example that I use all the time is like, you don't go to the Italian festival in New York City to like eat a salad.
No.
Go there because you want some absurd slice of pizza or you want something different. I
want a bag full of Zeppelis. That's what I want.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So like we kind of really have to deliver on, like really fun festival type food,
So when you talk about vegan junk food,
yeah,
give me an example or two that would stand out. I mean, because right away I'm like literally going like, okay, I can see like some kind of mushroom deep fried kind of thing that would first come to mind.
We do have one vendor that does this like deep fried mushroom burger that like he always has a long line for people to get.
Why am I not surprised by that?
There's a vendor, I mentioned him already, freaking vegan, and he does macaroni and cheese. It's like the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had. It's so good. He does empanadas also. Ming definitely knows all these guys too. There's
he's smiling in the background. We'll get him on before we're done here, but he's smiling at that. So
there's ice cream vendors. I'm trying to think. There's one vendor called Humble Roots that does egg rolls that are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what else. It's like it's everything. It's a little bit of everything. There's and that's like, even if you go on the Veg Fest Instagram, it's all food pictures, all of it. There's this one vendor that does like fried chicken on waffle sandwiches, but it's all vegan. Mm-hmm. So it's all pizza. The pizza always does well. Like we'll have Tony Baloney's from Atlantic City. They have a location.
It's a name I know. Absolutely.
They come in and they do, and they've been with us for a long time. There's also another pizza vendor called Parmigiani that does like Denver style, like deep dish kind of. Different than Chicago. It's like a little bit, I don't know if you ever had Denver style pizza.
Oh, can't say that.
It's really good. Or Detroit. I feel like everybody in Detroit right now is like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. Parmigiani's sitting at home like, I can't believe he said that. It's Detroit. So like it's in like this like square pan and it's like crispy on the outside, but it's
Detroit,
like, so good. So anyway, yes, it's food that people would travel to a festival for and pay a ticket price to come in. It's not like walking around eating broccoli all day.
Well, that's the other thing that I noticed is like I wasn't going to get dessert when I got there, but when you go into From Seed to Sprout, there's actually a display case and there's a lot of great looking things.
Yeah.
So I'm like going, and Ming, I know you want a photo of this because this looks good. This looks real good. So this I'm going to show to Marissa. This is the peanut butter banana blondie. Excuse me, not brownie, but blondie.
Yum.
Yeah. Now, for the uneducated, because I'm going to say I kind of qualify in that department. When it comes to a dessert and being vegan, what is the ingredient that's missing or being added that makes it different than, let's say, a normal cake or a normal brownie or what have you?
Usually the substitutions are, or at least when I bake, if
Okay.
there's eggs in a recipe, I'll do
Right.
applesauce instead. It doesn't even seem like, in my head anyway, it doesn't even seem like applesauce should ever be a substitution for eggs. Like
You
they
wouldn't
seem
think,
so
no.
far apart, but it works. You can also, it's called a flax egg. You can make a flax egg, and it's like just like in a little cup. You do a tablespoon of ground flax
Right.
and usually 2, 3 tablespoons of water. You let it sit there for 5 minutes on your counter, and it gets like really gelatinous. So it serves the same purpose as an egg. So you can do either one of those. There's like also Bob's Red Mill makes like straight up egg replacer. It's like a powder that you can buy.
Yeah.
There's plenty of vegan butters out there. So if a recipe calls for butter, you could just get like, there's lots of them. There's, I want to say the non-dairy aisle, if you will, or the plant-based dairy aisle in every supermarket now is just as big as the regular dairy aisle.
I am noticing that, definitely.
There's so much. So not everything is easy to duplicate. I feel like cheese is probably the very last thing in line that's hard for people to really make vegan and have it be the same, you know?
Mhm.
Baking is like I think the code has been cracked. You can have a vegan cupcake and not even know it's vegan. There's
I'm
like
biting into this blondie now, and I'm going, if you told me it was vegan, I wouldn't have believed it. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
it's
nobody would ever know. There's
Mhm.
even a lot of like Oreos are vegan. Who'd have thought? You know, like there's
Really?
absolutely no dairy in
Oh,
Oreos. Yeah. So there's already a lot of like vegan baked goods, I guess, if you will, that are already vegan. That people, all the frosting, or just about all of like the cans of frosting that you would get to like make a cake, like they don't actually have dairy in them. Like it's a lot of baked goods are easily substituted or already are vegan.
now
So
I'm going to say this. I know what I paid for the meal, and I'm sitting there going, okay, if you're with somebody, I could see going there and having a good experience. It's not something, and I guess it's also because going back to economics, when we're talking about what we're paying for food, if you want quality food, you're going to pay a little bit more. And I
totally.
sit here and go, for what this was, I'm sitting here going, it's a good meal. No
Yeah.
question about it. And I would sit there and go, would I go back there for lunch once in a while? Sure. And that's the funny part. When I put it up on Facebook, there were people saying, I'm not vegan, and I'll go there.
Yeah.
I think that's really the nice high praise that you could give any place. It's like, this is not my normal thing, but I like going here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. If you can get the carnivores to go into a vegan restaurant or go back into it after
Right.
maybe they were dragged there the first time, that means you're doing something right.
Mhm. No doubt. No. Bravo from Seed to Sprout for that. Again, the New Jersey Vegan Fest will be in May in Asbury Park. There we go. Put it up one more time. The tickets are on sale. Give the website one more time, Marissa, so they know.
It's njvegfest.com. Pretty
Very
easy.
cool.
Yeah.
One other thing I do want to mention is obviously her business that kind of got her established in the area. We got the photo of the sign there. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, the Be Well Wellness Center. Marissa has been a part of this. It's since the beginning. Obviously, it's her business, but she's also somebody who's very into yoga. Something I found it. No, seriously, something I found when I was larger, but it was helping me on other levels. And then I got injured. Then I had to stop doing it. Just starting it back in the last year, and now I'm at a point where it's like if I don't do 20 minutes every morning, my back is going, I hate you. Do it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing. I mean, for you, obviously, it's second nature because it's a part of your life. But anybody who, and I defy anybody, try yoga once. Maybe you're not into the meditation thing, but what's going to happen after a few lessons and learning the routines? You will become more flexible. You will take pressure off your back. It really does. If you have back problems, trust me, this is one of those things where I have gotten so much relief from it. And then I'm showing off to my friends and they're like going, what do they call it? It's called the pigeon. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's really true. I used to so I'm I'm technically 41. I was going to say I'm 42 because I turned 42 on January 23rd. So that's like next week.
Yeah, it's like
So,
it's coming.
still 41 right now. So I started doing yoga about like in my like late 20s, early 30s. And I already was having, and I think it's from years of playing sports as a kid. And I was like a really intense athlete in high school.
Right.
And this is, this is like a little bit of a injury or pain that I associate with like being older than what I was in my late 20s and early 30s. But like I had like hip pain that was horrible on both sides. And I think it's just from years of running. And like I've done so much running. My knees were really messed up. I had so many ankle injuries just from playing soccer for so many years.
Yeah.
And when people said, oh yeah, do yoga and you'll feel better, like there's almost something like, yeah, okay, about that. But that's what I did. I started doing yoga, and it's something that you don't even have to do every single day of your life to be able to get the benefit of it. Like it's now a little bit more than 12 years later, and I don't have any aches and pains. Again, I know that sounds like, oh, okay, sure. But like, honestly, like it's helped me in such a tremendous way, that it's both strength and flexibility that you're getting at the same time. That it's like one of the things that the yoga is really part of like a bigger wellness center. I started all this by, I have a doctoral degree in nutrition. So I'm a registered dietitian, and I see people for nutrition counseling. That's kind of like the main gig. That's what I do at Be Well. Right. But I wanted to bring in other practitioners to provide this like really well-rounded of like brand of wellness to people. And yoga had to be a part of that, like after the experience that I had with it. Yeah.
But I will say this, Ming, I want the one on, you're about to go to that one. Now, I don't care who you are. There are levels of yoga I will never attain. That is one of them. I mean,
never say never.
Well,
so many yoga poses are about knowing how to do it.
But again, the balance on this is ridiculous. And it's also a matter of, and I've seen people do this, but it still blows my mind where it's like going, wait a minute. The weight's on the arms, but is it on the head? How are you balancing yourself? How does your leg do that?
You'll be, you know what? So we have a yoga teacher training come up. It's like one of my favorite things that I do at Be Well. And we break down and we teach people how to do these poses. And like, I think, don't knock it until, I was going to say, don't knock it till you try it. Maybe that's not it. You got to see if you can before you decide.
Fair enough.
Sure. And a lot of yoga poses that you see that people assume take massive amounts of strength are really just knowing the form and knowing how to do it. And there's a fear factor. There's sometimes where you feel like you're just going to fall flat on your face, and it's almost bound to happen, as you try things. But unless you have any kind of like neck injury or anything like that, you can do it. Some people, headstand's not meant for you, but I have faith. We can get you in a headstand.
The yoga training, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, is happening on the 25th of this month. If they want to get more involved in that, they can hit the Be Well website.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's our free info session. Yeah.
Here we go. Marisa Sweeney is here on the A Game. To wrap it up, I always do random shots. Ming knows this. I haven't done one for the year, which brings me to an interesting question. When it comes to alcohol and veganism, which ones are out of bounds as far as that goes?
There is a website called Barnivore, and it's like a database of all the alcohol that's out there, or at least the large majority of it. And if you're not sure, you can always look it up. But there's unfortunately, there's a lot of wine, and there's a lot of wine that's actually filtered using fish bladders. I know that sounds crazy.
It does.
But it would not qualify it really as being vegan. So I want to say most of the alcohol that's out there is vegan. So that's really not an issue. My husband's been vegan for just as long as me, and he's a big Guinness guy. Guinness is vegan.
There you go.
So, you don't have, there's a lot you don't have to worry about.
Oh, by the way, cheers. Your anniversary is coming up. Happy 6-year anniversary. That's coming up.
Thank you. I have my water here. I don't have
All right, a few questions here in random shots.
Yeah.
This is me being a wise ass and basically stalking her social media. Marisa, I start with this. In 2020, you invested in a nice chess set. How good have you become at chess?
Wow, that's a deep cut there. You know what? How to buy that? There was the show on Netflix, The Queen's Gambit. You remember that? I was like, well, we need a chess set in here now. And it was also the height of COVID, so there was nowhere to go and nothing to do.
Right.
So like, am I any better at having bought that chess set? Probably not, because what I really need to work on is patience. And that game requires a lot of
Oh,
patience,
it does.
and
Absolutely.
I just don't have it.
There
Not enough patience to play chess, that's for sure. Or
There-
at least, like, the only person I really had to play against at that time was my husband, and he's a little bit more patient than I am, and I just, like I'm like, "Forget it. I just can't do this." So, that same chess set has been at my coffee table, like, for years now. I don't think I've played it, but it's there. It's very pretty on my coffee table.
And it looks nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Random Shots with Marisa Sweeney. It's ironic that here's the lady who's representing District 25. That's Morristown. It happens to be the heart of where I do middays at 105.5 WDHA, the Rock of New Jersey. So as a rock DJ, I had to ask the question, okay, when it comes to music, I'm asking you 3 bands you would want on a bill, because her handle, by the way, on Instagram is Queen Sweeen. So I'm creating Queen Sweeen Fest. Give me 3 bands you want on that festival.
Oh God, who do I want?
Yeah.
Who do I want? I have a really weird, eclectic type of taste in music. Let me
I
think.
caught a
3
little bit of
bands.
that on your socials. That's why I had asked that question.
I really like, and I feel like this is like a real stereotypical millennial for me to say this, but I really like the Killers. I'd like the Killers to be really great. I like that. I also really like the Foo Fighters. That would be really great. The Foo Fighters actually and the Killers headlined See Here Now a couple years ago, and I was like, this is the best day of my life. So if I had to pick a third one, though, who would my third one be? Who would my third one be? I don't know. I don't know. I really like Tame Impala right now. They're pretty good.
Good band.
Yeah, I'll make them my third.
All right. Look, I go to that show in 2 seconds. I mean, I'm there. There you go.
Yeah.
Nicely done. We've been talking about all this food, so I'm going to pose this. You're dying. Not that you're dying right now, but you're dying. This is your last meal. What is it?
Can I tell you, like I said before, like I literally have a doctoral degree in nutrition, like, but my
Do you
taste,
go off the rails then at the end, or what?
my like taste palette is like so unrefined. I like give me pizza. Like I think I would eat pizza as my last, if I had to pick like my last meal. Like I don't, and like honestly, my second favorite food, if I had to pick it, would probably French fries. I love French fries. So like, you know, it would be a shame to waste a whole meal on just picking French fries. So I'd have to have something along with it. Maybe tacos would be a third. Like I have the most unrefined. I like what I like. I like what I like.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Pizza, French fries, and tacos. If we can make that one meal somehow, I'm in.
There you go. The last 3-course meal of her life. Just be careful when you serve it.
We did have one vendor actually that used to make pizza with tacos on it. Do you ever see the pizza with the garlic knots on it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Full tacos on it is what dreams are made of.
I want to meet that guy. That's the guy I want to meet. Oh my God.
They were really great.
Wrapping up on Random Shots, Ming, get your ass on the screen if you don't mind. I know you've known Ming Chen for a long time. Ming, of course, the boss here at A Shared Universe. Thank you, by the way, for all your support over
Hey, guys. Hello. Hello, Queen Sweeny.
Hello. So good to see you.
Yeah, exactly. So you know this guy well. Only because I want to embarrass him because he's here. Give me a good Ming Chen story that you got on him. Come on. I know you got at least one.
I don't know if I feel like I'm trying to. So when I think of Ming, like back to, because it's been a little while since I've seen Ming.
Right.
You used to come to all our veg fests. You were always so awesome about that. Mm-hmm. And I remember you had that one podcast studio location that was right on the boardwalk. I remember podcasting there.
Asbury Park,
yeah. Really great. You also, I don't know if you have these locations anymore, but you had the location in Eatontown that was really great too. You were always just like, much like you said, like, I didn't know who these people were when we came in. Like we didn't, Kendra actually is the one that found you. She's like, I think we should start podcasting in the studio. And like, we didn't know who you were either, but you were like, from the very get-go, you were such a supporter of everything that we did. And you have such a positive energy about you, and you walk into your studio and you have all this awesome stuff on the wall. You're just the picture of awesome is what it is. That's the story I have for Ming.
Nice.
It takes one to know one, my friend. It takes one to know one. And before my life got crazy, I tried to go to all the veg fests.
Wow.
But I think the pinnacle moment was we were like, hey, we're doing a fest in AC. It's going to be pretty big.
Right.
We've booked a keynote speaker, somebody that you know. I'm like, who? And it was Harley Quinn Smith.
Oh, wow.
Kevin's daughter and noted vegan. Mm-hmm. and they have a big podcast called Vegan Abattoir now, which is a funny title. So I think I thought that was really, really awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
She was really great.
And I'm going to think 2 steps further outside of Asbury Park, because Marissa had the festival that was in Montclair just a few months ago, and knowing it's like going, I just got started at DHA. I'm like going, by the time, if you go back to Montclair in 2026, that would mean I would be on the air for over a year. I'm like going, yeah, okay, Veg Fest hosted by WDHA's Rob Akampora. I'm like, might have to happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh my God, it'd be great to have you. We're going to be back next year. It was a great event.
Oh, great. Look forward.
We used to do it in the Meadowlands for years.
Yes, that I do realize, yeah.
We moved it from the Meadowlands. We wanted to keep the North Jersey show, but that space in Montclair is just so cool. I don't know if you had the chance to be there yet. It is so cool. All the walls are painted murals by like local artists and everything.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We had to be there. So
I'm glad about that. Like I said, it was one of the things that popped up when I was talking on the air, and I'm like going, and then knowing enough about you, I was like going, and then obviously everything that's happened, it was like going, glad you could make the time. And honestly, considering how crazy you're going to be over the next 24 hours, I really appreciate you taking the time, especially right now, to come on here.
Pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. Real quick, she will officially become Assemblywoman tomorrow, and she'll be representing that 25th district. And we'll have a lot more work on her hands because New Jersey Veg Fest in May in Asbury Park. One more timing, put it up there. There you go, May 16th and 17th. Get those tickets through the website. And, of course, her Be Well place in Morristown. Doesn't make a difference where you are. Go visit it. And if you're into yoga or you ever thought about teaching yoga, there is a clinic going on the 25th that you should know about. Go visit the website and find out more. I think I got everything in there.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you.
Marissa, really good luck. Good luck over the next 2 years. I wish you all the best. And as somebody who's going to be watching from the sidelines, I hope everything that we talked about earlier does come to fruition for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you again for having me on. This was fun.
I'm glad you had fun. That's the whole idea. Hey, listen, I'll be back next week, same time, Monday night, 7:00 Eastern. Hey, check out my YouTube channel, become a member, because it's not going to cost you anything. This is episode 131 if you're keeping score. For Marisa Sweeney, I'm Rob Akampora. Take care. Have a good week. Happy New Year.